zone defenses on you, and they'll give you a lot of different looks. So it's going to be a challenge for us tonight.
Okay, Coach. Well, thanks a lot. Good luck tonight. Let's go across the field to John Kramer.
Thanks, Scott. I'm here with Coach Chuck Reisland, the Orange Lions, and last year, Coach, state semifinalist, got some returning players. Why don't you talk about the two All-Ohio kids you have coming back?
Well, the first one's Galen Greathouse, our wide receiver, and also a defensive back. Galen, I'll tell you, he weighs about 145 pounds. He's about 5'6", and the big thing about him, he's tremendous speed. He has great hands, and for his size, pound for pound, he's the toughest football player there is in Ohio. He's a good one. And Moran, 27, plays tight end for us, but he's an excellent tight end, excellent hands, excellent speed, but where Maury really excels and where he's going to be a Division I player and maybe one of the highest recruited kids in Ohio this year will be a linebacker. And hopefully at night he'll show the people here how he can play linebacker. He's a great linebacker.
Speaking of defense, Coach, is that your strong suit this year?
Yeah, it is, because, last year, having the team we did, we returned 8 starters, and it's a pretty experienced unit, and it has to be right now because offensively, we're going to get, I think, pretty good, but right now we're struggling a little bit because we have a lot of young kids, and especially at some of the key positions, especially like quarterback. But I think things, as we go along, are going to get a lot better the next couple of weeks.
Speaking of quarterback, who's going to get the nod tonight?
Okay, Bryan Blum, our junior, will be our quarterback. Bryan was locked in a race with my own son, Lance, for the job, and Lance got hurt against Normandy. But Bryan's starting, I'll tell you, I've seen the biggest improvement in Bryan in the last week and a half of anybody, and I'll tell you, I'm really pleased with him so far. I think he's going to be a good one.
Okay. That's Coach Chuck Reisland of Orange. We'll be back with tonight's starting lineups after you watch this.
Here at Brush High School, the Brush Arcs hosting the Orange Lions, and before we do anything, I'd like to get to those key matchups of the night so you know exactly what to look for as you're sitting back and enjoying this one tonight. The first one on our list, we've got Brush's pass protection against Orange's defensive front line.
Well, the thing about it is Brush is going to have to throw the ball tonight, Craig. They're not going to be able to run the ball right down Orange's defensive throat because they got 8 starters back on deep. They're going to have to loosen it up with the pass, and the first thing you got to do when you pass the football is protect the quarterback.
Okay, and the second one that we have is Orange's power running game against Brush's interior defense is really going to put the pressure on Brush.
Exactly, because I think Brush can play with Orange on the perimeters, in the secondary and on the perimeters. It's when they get down in the trenches, down in the middle, and Orange will run the ball right at you, and they got to be able to neutralize that and stop that, or it could be a long night.
And as you can see by the picture on your screen, the sun is out. It has turned out to be just a beautiful night for football here, so that the weather will be no factor at all. As we're looking around at the flags, a little bit of a breeze, but not too bad as you see the art cheerleaders getting ready to have those guys bust on through that. And I'd say what we'll do now, we're about a minute or so away from the kickoff, so we'll take a break here, get to some of our sponsors, and we'll be back with the referees and tonight's kickoff right after you watch this. Not a factor, but Brush has got to be reeling after last week, and it's not going to get any easier. These Orange Lions are a tough football team.
They're tough, they're experienced, which is what they ran into last week with Solon. Brush has only got 3 real starters back on this ball club, so they got a lot of youth. And last week, the problem that Coach Jim Schuchart felt was that they just made some mistakes, got themselves in trouble, and it snowballed, and the kids didn't know how to rebound from those mistakes.
Well, a lot of that has to do with that kind of experience. And on Orange's side, they've got a couple of guys that were second-team All-Ohio performers last year, Galen Greathouse and Maury Norris.
Well, not only do they have varsity experience, Craig, they played 3 games in the playoffs to boot. So, I mean, they're used to big-time football, and they've been through the wars, so to speak.
All right, the way the coin toss went was that Orange won the toss. They elected to defer to the second half, so I believe Brush will be kicking off, or Brush will be receiving the kickoff, I should say, if the information we got was correct from the field.
I believe so, and we're going to look at Galen Greathouse right off the bat returning the ball. A fine little athlete.
Yeah. Well, actually, Orange is going to kick off. They will kick to Brush. And that will mean that number 50 for the Orange Lions, Bob Bartos, will come in and do the kicking. You'll see Bartos playing nose tackle on that defense also. Pretty flexible kind of guy.
This is a place where Brush can really help themselves on special teams, Craig. One thing about inexperienced players, they get a little fired up about special teams. So that's an advantage where if you can really get these kids to play good at special teams, it could be an advantage for Brush.
Going back deep is Mike Krebs, number 10, along with Don Jerome, number 22. As we're set to go here, as Bartos gets ready to tow it up. And the second week is underway, and it's a squib kick. Don't want to get anything too much early. Picked up by an up man for Brush, and he goes across the 35-yard line. Tim Weidenkoff to about the 36-yard line. So Brush with good field position, and they decided to keep the ball out of Don Jerome's hands, it looked like.
Interesting. I think what Coach Reisland wanted was a much harder squib kick than that one. It gives Brush excellent field position, and this can only help the inexperienced Arcs.
Mike Vorostik is the quarterback, number 12. Played a couple games last year. The up back in the eye is Tom Coe, 34. The deep back is number 30, Bryan German. And they're going to put it up right away. In big trouble, and he's going to be sacked and dropped. Bob Bartos on the sack. Scott Ballantyne in there also, and also in on the play was Thurman Powell, 56. It was just it couldn't get a receiver through that secondary.
What happened was Bryan German could not get out of the backfield and get into his pattern quick enough because he had time to throw. He had nobody to throw it to. Play action pass, and that sometimes happens. The back's got to get released through there.
A loss of 5 on the play. Second down and 15. Todd Kleckner checks into the game, replacing Sean Welsh. Running the plays in for Coach Shukar. They keep it on the ground this time, and they go to German. He gets back close to the original line of scrimmage, so they got about 5 yards back, so it brings up a 3rd down and long.
Shifting from the I formation into the T formation, Craig, and running a little inside counter to German.
Coming in for the Orange Lions is number 76, Bob Cugini. And Cugini, pretty big in stature himself.
He plays offensive tackle, and he's a good one.
Second down, or 3rd down and 11. They're going to put it up again.
Oh.
It's going to be sacked and dropped again. Maury Norris on a blitz. Borostik didn't have a chance to even turn around.
I guess one of our matchups has come up already,
Wow.
Craig. That got to protect the passer, and that's the thing. You don't want to get in them 3rd and long situations because Orange will just come after you.
Come after them, they did.
You don't want Maury Norris coming after you like that, untouched.
Brings up a 4th down and 20. Number 19, Bill Tipton, is in to kick for Brush. We see Greathouse going back deep, number 2, and Brent Sullivan, number 9. It's a nice high spiral. Is going to be taken by Sullivan at the 43. Into Brush territory, and they're going to blow the ball dead at the Brush 47-yard line. So Orange with tremendous field position here.
There's exactly what Jim Shukart did not want, Craig, the game to start like this.
So Brian Blum, the quarterback, starting his first game here for Orange. Lance Reisland started last week and has a bum leg. Is that correct? The leg, isn't it?
Yes.
John Levine, the up back. Brent Sullivan, the deep back. They send Amar Adam in motion. They give it to Sullivan. He picks up 3 or 4 yards. Tackled by Tom Coe, number 34. And by Manny McCall, 72.
Orange already going right after him. They're going to go right at the middle of that Brush defense. Try to bend it.
Greathouse to the bottom of your screen. And they're going to run Adam in motion again. Now they put him a slot. Now he's coming back the other way. And they pitch it back. We got flags on the play. A nice run around the left side by Tom Harvey. There's a flag down as we watch it come right at you.
Watch the vicious hit right there. Dana Duca took a vicious hit on the corner.
And the penalty is going to be against Orange.
Standing up and moving. You can't wait that long. Quarterback has to be set, then he goes in motion.
And call it from illegal motion.
Okay, the ball is on the 40.
Be set for a second before you can come back up and go the other way.
Exactly.
Well, they'll obviously take the penalty because it would have been a 1st down. And That'll make it a second down, and it looks like about 11 yards to go now.
Back to the 48-yard line. It's going to be second down, about 12.
8:31 to go here in the opening period. Orange has the ball on Brush's 48-yard line. And more motion.
Oh, big
David
play.
Sass. Anthony Trevisano in on that play. And a big defensive effort there by Brush.
They're a free safety blitz, Craig, through the left side of the line. And there's a stunt. Jim Schuchart expects to stunt a lot. He cannot sit and play, very much like the Mayfield Wildcats of a week ago.
Right,
They
exactly.
feel they have to game and stunt. They will not give you the same look 2 plays in a row.
Now it becomes a third down and 15. Sullivan goes in motion.
Man-to-man in the secondary.
Bloom, the lefty, fires it up, and it's tipped away, and a nice defensive effort there by Mike Krebs, number 10, intended for Maury Norris. Got a hand up and batted it away.
They went with man-to-man coverage that time with 2 free safeties, and it paid off 40 yards.
Even if that ball would have completed, I don't think he'd have got a first down because he was hit pretty hard from behind as soon as he made contact with the ball. So it's a fourth down and 15 now. And Brent Sullivan is in to kick. Krebs and Jerome are back deep, and it's a nice high kick. It's going to be taken by Jerome at about the 19-yard line, and he gets 2 or 3 yards with the coverage downfield by Orange. David Za, as well as Brad Hershey, in on the tackle. And we can also throw in Scott Ballantyne. So Brush has to be pleased that they were able to hold on the first drive by Orange.
Well, the penalty helped put Orange in a long situation. You get Orange in a long situation, Brush can play with them because they can play in the secondary and on the perimeter with them.
And we had some confusion down there on Brush's sideline. Tom Cole was not in the ball game.
It's the second time that Tom has been late getting on the field.
And before we move along, I'd like to thank those sponsors, as we do each and every week. Geppetto's Pizza and Ribs, the first place in taste. In South Euclid, give them a call, 691-1000. And right across the street from that, we have Warehouse Beverage. Give them a call at 382-2400. Those are the kind of mistakes that cost you those timeouts early in a ball game when it's not necessary. It's not crucial.
Exactly.
You're on your own 24-yard line.
They had a lot of this last week, Brush did. Coach Jim Schuchart talked about just a lot of penalties at the wrong time. Not so much turnovers, but penalties at the wrong time, blown assignments, things like that just got him in trouble.
How can something like that happen to your starting fullback when he's not in the ball game? I mean, is it just one of those...
mental lapse, or
Yeah.
call it what you want. The kids are still 17 years old, and
Sure.
I guess that's part of it.
All right, so Mike Vorostik now in his second series here this evening. Coe is the up back, and again they go with Brian German in the backfield. Akash Gupta is far on the right side. They may be going that way, and they are, and he's got to step on a man, and he caught the ball across the 50 and down to the 43-yard line.
And he beat a great cornerback in Galen Greathouse.
I saw him so wide out on the top, or on the far side of the field, and he got a step on him, and Vorostik put it right on the button.
What happened was Orange shifted their secondary to the strength, to the tight end side near the boundary, left the wide out all alone. As we watch it again, the play action pass. Vorostik, beautiful ball, Craig.
Right on the money, beating Greyhouse.
Vorostik is a good athlete. Schuchart likes what he sees. He just needs some school or some experience.
Well, you got to get a new helmet.
What they want from Vorostik, Craig, they want him to just be an athlete. Go out there and be an athlete. Not get down on himself so much about some of the little mistakes he does. Just be himself.
And he was himself that time. A big game for Brush. Now we got problems with his helmet.
Look for a lot of that. Brush throwing on first down, Craig, to loosen up that defense, throwing those quick passes. They're not going to be able to slug it out between the tackles with him.
That was a very well-thrown ball for the 30 or 40 yards that it went. 7:08 and counting here in the first quarter. Brush is on the move. They've got the ball on Orange's 43-yard line. They give it to the big fullback Coe, and he picks up a couple of yards near the 40-yard line. Hanging on for dear life is Maury Norris, number 27, coming up from his linebacker spot.
These second down plays now become very important for Brush not to get into third and long situations, because then Orange just tees off and comes at you.
So we'll call it a 2nd down and 7. The ball right on the 40-yard line. And there's a fumble, and I think Orange may have gotten it. The handoff just never got there, and Orange has picked it up. Big turnover already.
Definitely a mishap between the handoff. Definitely a problem. The ball was never taken in by the back. As we watch it again.
Right on the hip with it.
Yeah.
So Chris Simpfendorfer comes up with a big play for Orange as they now get the ball back right at their own 40-yard line, heading back the other way.
Speaking of Ziffendorfer and Maury Norris, what a pair of linebackers, huh?
Yeah. Maury Norris in one of the local papers, Defensive Player of the Week. They give it to Sullivan, pushing ahead for about 3 or 4 yards. Josh Trentine on the tackle, and Dan Vitovitz, number 66, also on the tackle. Under the 6-minute mark to go here. And as we said at the outset, what a beautiful night for football it is. Now we see blue skies up above as the sun is starting to set, but virtually no wind. And it's not 90 degrees like it usually is this time of year, so everybody's happy.
Brush coming with everybody that time.
Tom Harvey going not too far, not too fast.
Brush sent everybody that time, both inside linebackers coming on a blitz.
Vitovitz, McCall in there.
Again, Craig, they will stunt. They will not show you the same defensive front 2 plays in a row.
So now it becomes a 3rd down and a very short 6, more like 5.5, as the ball is right in front of us here from our broadcast position. Levine, the up back. They go with Harvey as the deep back. They're going to put it up. Blum rolls, fires, got a man. Sullivan, far side, brought down by Don Jerome. Good enough, however, for a 1st down as they're into Brush territory at about the 46-yard line.
And twin receivers to the left, a quick out, wide open as they watch beat the zone. A twin receiver, so Jerome had 2 men in his area to put a lot of pressure on.
Nice to have that lefty to be able to go to that side, too. He only took about 2 steps before he fired that one away. The ball is on the 46. They sent Dave Zah in motion. Now he goes back again the other side. They pitch it back to Sullivan, coming near side. Kurt Gillick did a nice job of stringing that one out, and finally Dana Duca brings down Sullivan.
Gillick did a great job of taking on the blocker. Like you said, Craig, strung the play out and even helped in on the tackle. As we watch it again. 57, Kurt Gillick, right there.
You saw Manny McCall, also number 72, come flying into your screen. So it's a 2nd down and 7 now. The ball on the 43-yard line of Brush. He sends Sullivan in motion. And there's a fumble, coughed it up, and Orange got it back. Tom Harvey was able to smother it. Boy, oh boy, it's like a... Probably putting some grease on that football. It was
one of the
spinning
Arcs had a
around.
great shot at it.
Yeah, they did. Believe it was 48. Josh Trentine. Watch it again. It's tough when you're crawling. You have people rolling all over your back to try to go get the ball. So a miscue costs Orange about 3 yards now. So now we'll have to call it a 3rd down and 10.
They're going man to man.
And Bloom rolls out looking for a man, and he overthrew it. Almost a great catch there by number 86, Bryan Slamovitz. So that brings up another 4th down and a punting situation as Brent Sullivan is on to do the kicking. Going back deep again for Brush is Mike Krebs and number 22, Don Jerome.
Brush hanging defensively, Craig.
They are.
What Coach Reisland talked about Brush, he felt they had a very sound defense, and he was worried about their defense. because of all the stunning and all the different looks they give you.
Sullivan kicks it to the far side of the field. It's a good kick with a nice roll down to about the 13-yard line. So he pins Brush back deep in their own territory, and they'll take over again.
This is not where Jim Shukart wants to start an offensive drive with a young team like he has.
Not at all. Now, Orange scored 6 points last week. So it's not like they went out last week and
No, they
scored a ton of points. So
They ran into a very tough Normandy team last week. They went double overtime with them and got 2 field goals for the 6-3 win. Again, you talked about Maury Norris being a player of the week in one of the local papers, because he had a big interception to force that overtime.
and Brush keeps it on the ground, and they hand the ball off to German. Picked up a couple of yards there. So being very conservative with the ball deep in their own territory here to start their 3rd possession of the night. So far, a good defensive battle on tap as we're now down to 2:24 and counting here in the first half. See a good shot of the crowd here. The stands below us are looking pretty filled up again. Great fans out here at Brush. And
Yes.
we've got to thank Denny Krustic and his staff for making us feel at home as he does every time.
Tremendous job by Denny and his boys.
2nd down and 8. They're going to put it up. Krustic almost picked off. David Zah stepped in front of the receiver. Akash Gupta. And almost, that would have been 6.
Yeah, that was playing with fire right there. Just trying to loft it over the head of Zah. Not enough on it.
So it brings up a 3rd and a long 8 now. What are you going to do? You're going to keep it on the ground here and just...
If they do throw, I'm sure it'll be something very conservative, a safe type pass.
Mike Krebs runs the play back in for the Arcs. As we're now under the 2-minute mark to go. First quarter, scoreless ball game here. The Brush Arcs hosting the Orange Lions from Brush Stadium, Korb Field. Borostic to throw, look out, and here comes Maury Norris again.
They are not picking up that blitz, Craig. It's a simple dog by the linebacker straight ahead. They're not doing anything fancy. They're just sending a linebacker straight ahead, and Brush is not picking it up.
You know it's scary when the linebacker gets there before the quarterback does. And Borostic's not even having a chance to set up. Watch it again. He doesn't even get himself set.
There's definitely a breakdown in the pass protection, and I'm sure the Brush coaches will get that ironed out.
All right, they need a big kick here from Bill Tipton, the sophomore, standing in his own end zone, the shadows of his own goalpost. Got a lot of time, and he gets it off. Taken by Sullivan at the 35. Great field position for Orange. Burrows his way down inside the 20. A net of 15 yards on that punt.
The good news for Brush is they're kicking the ball away from Galen Greathouse.
Yeah.
But the bad news is that Sullivan, he does a nice job on the punt returns
Sure
as well.
does. And when you're standing in your end zone, at least you got to get the punt off like he did.
Right.
You know, you're just worried about kicking it out of there. So Brian Bloom comes up with a good opportunity to get some points on the board here. Keeps Harvey and Levine in the backfield. They run Sullivan in motion. They're going to run the option. They pitch it back, and Sullivan's got all kinds of room. Goodbye, touchdown.
Well executed option play, Craig. Counter option. Take it to the back. Come back with the wing back coming around for the option pitch. And it was 6 points right down the sideline.
Wow. And how turned on the Jets. And that was something that we weren't sure if we were going to see because of Bloom, not the speediest of guys back there. We weren't sure how much of the option we were going to see, more of a straight drop-back passer. But when you've got running backs like that, take a couple steps, pitch it back, and sayonara.
When you got a quarterback like Bloom, you tell him, pitch it.
Bob Bartos in to attempt the point after, and he drills it right through the uprights. So with 44 seconds to go here in the first quarter, Orange has jumped out to a 7-0 lead. And it's tough. You put the pressure on that defense of yours when you give them the ball at your own 20-yard line.
Oh, I don't know, Scott. There it is.
Brush needs a good offensive series now. You get the ball back to the middle of the field and play in the other side of the field. The ball,
Exactly.
the game has been played entirely on Brush's half so far.
Plus the fact they've got to pick up a couple first downs to try to keep some of that momentum on their side. If they if they go 3 and out.
Right. They don't want to get too far behind this Orange team because it'd be tough coming back. Orange, I don't know if people are aware of it, Craig, they have not given up a touchdown this year yet, scrimmages and their first game.
That's pretty impressive,
So-
especially those scrimmages when you go
Yeah.
3-4 teams deep.
Well, and you go against Canton McKinley,
Yeah.
and the first teamers did not give up a touchdown. So that they've got a great defense, and that is the strength of their team.
Bob Bartos to kick off. Don Jerome. Mike Krebs back deep. Jerome 22. Krebs number 10. And there's a little harder squib. And that caused a little bit of problems, but Jerome picks it up shy of the 30. Worms his way through. We got a flag coming in. We could have an illegal block, and the ball is down at about the 35, but we'll have to hang
It's
on.
okay. Just ball, don't blow the whistle. Bring
Rick Rosalina on the tackle.
Number 28 on the run back, we got a hold.
All right, so you can hear the holding on number 28 on the run back. Mike Strong.
holding. Rush.
So that'll move the ball back and put Brush in
Captain.
not so good field position again.
Again, this is how it kind of went last week for Brush. Penalties at the wrong times. There's really not a right time for a penalty, but
Well, Brush will have the ball just outside their own 20-yard line. 36 seconds to go here in the first quarter. We've got Scott Cirilla down on the field. We'll be going to him at the end of the quarter to see what's new down on the Brush Arc sideline as he's standing by with a report. They're going to crank up the clock. This may be the last play of the first quarter. Clock is now winding down to 20 seconds. And they've used up some time in the huddle. They're going to have to get a move on here. Borostic, quarterback, the same backs, Coe and Jerome. They give it to Jerome. He picked up a couple of yards up the middle, but there's not a whole lot of running room in that middle of that Orange Lion defense.
you're running at the strength of that defense, Craig.
And that's the end of the first quarter. The score, the Orange Lions 7, the Brush Arcs nothing, and we'll be back right after you watch this. There you see the score, 7-0. Let's go down to the field and Scott Cirilla.
Okay, guys, I was listening on the Brush side, and they talked about trying to give the quarterback a little bit more time. They suggested that the receivers try to cut their routes maybe about 3 yards short, because now with Orange having the lead, they're probably really going to start sending the defensive backs. And the assistant coach also said to the running backs to not take so much time at picking and choosing their holes in the backfield, to try to find something and hit it as soon as they can.
All right, Scott, thank you very much. We'll see if that strategy will pay off for these Brush Arcs here in the second quarter. They've got the ball now on their 23-yard line. We'll call it a 2nd down and 8. Just underway here now in the second quarter. Going to run the option. They kick it back to Jerome. Great pursuit by Norris, but Jerome breaks the tackle. 1st down and more across the 35. Ori Norris had him in his grasp and couldn't hang on, and Jerome keeping those legs pumping. Good 1st down.
He's a tough guy to hit, Craig. He's 5'4", 165 pounds, so he packs 165 pounds in a very small frame.
A little bullet coming out of the back.
Squatty. Those are the toughest guys to tackle.
And Norris looked like he tried to wrap him up around the shoulder pads and just kind of got tossed off to the side. So a big play there for Brush. They get a 1st down, and more importantly, they keep the ball and try to get some of that momentum back again now. The ball on the 35-yard line. They give it right back to Jerome. Pops through another big hole for another 4 or 5 yards. Hanging on in there, number 64, Scott Valentine. So Jerome squirting through the holes. The holes are there the last 2 plays, and they've been made good use of. Krebs will run a play back in now for Brush.
It's very important, Brush, get that ground game going. They're going to have to throw some quick, short passes to Boot.
Looped at the bottom of your screen. And they give it back to Jerome, picking his way through close to a 1st down, but about a half a yard short. So it'll be 3rd down and very short. I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep giving it back to them until they stop them. So now it's a 3rd down and less than a yard.
Orange's philosophy on defense, just the opposite of Brush's, Craig. They want to sit and play because they feel that up front they're better than Brush. So they're just going to sit and they're going to play and they're going to say, you come at us and you beat us. And then they fly to the football with pursuit.
3rd down and 1. Coe is the up back. Now they're going to send Jerome to the tee. They bootleg it around the near side and didn't. Oh, he might have got it on a second effort, but what a vicious hit Verostic took. Wow. I believe it was number 80 that hit him. Brad Hershey, a defensive back.
I think he's got it.
Yeah, I think the second effort.
Oh, they moved the ball on us.
Oh, did they? Watch it again. Watch this hit. Ooh. I mean, big time.
Took it like a champ.
I got to believe. I think they got it.
Yeah, I'm betting with you. No doubt about that. You're automatic.
Yeah, we'll see. This should be easy. It's right down in front of us. Watch me blow this one after being perfect for almost 3 years now. I think I've only missed one.
Now we got the mic on the official. Why don't they just call it up to you? Craig, is that a first or not?
All right, so another first down and a gutsy play by Verostic as he took a stick, kept the legs going that little extra, leaned across and got the first down by a half a length of the football.
Got good speed and quickness, and it's why they run bootlegs an option with him.
See him at 5'9", 148. And again, that is one of the things that Brush doesn't have this year. They don't have the big players they used to have in the front line. They've got a lot of guys that are smaller than they're accustomed to. Tom Coe following that offensive line, though, and picks up about 3 or 4 yards.
On that thought, Craig, Jim Shukart had an interesting quote this week when I talked to him. He said, "This is a great group of kids to work with. It's just a shame they don't have a little more size."
Yep. Well, as we talked about last week, size isn't everything. You got to have the heart and you got to have the desire.
But it don't hurt.
It doesn't hurt to be big, though, when you have that heart and desire. What do we got? We got whistles blowing. We've got, who knows? It's an official's timeout with 9:22 to go here. Brush is moving the football. They've moved it about 29 yards so far in this drive.
Jerome getting a breather on the sidelines. Don't expect that to last too long, though.
And there's our good friends at Geppetto's Pizza and Ribs in South Euclid, 691-1000. Please give them a call. The pizza we had last week was Wunderbar. And, of course, Al, Mike, and Paul Warehouse Beverage, 382-2400 for all your beverage needs. You got the holiday weekend this weekend, so if you need anything, please drop by our 2 sponsors and pick up your food, your ribs, your pizza, and then go next door and get those beverages. So it's a 2nd down and 7 when play resumes. I think I just lost Kramer next to me here. His left eardrum just blew. So we put you right down on the field, and you know what it's like to be a referee. Kerry said he's sorry. They really tried to catch that one.
Sure.
They give it to Brian German, and he goes nowhere, maybe a half a yard on the play. So it's going to be 3rd down and a nice chunk of real estate. Steve Spira. 3rd down is still looking like 7.
Probably you're going to see some kind of play-action pass.
Probably see some kind of Maury Norris blitz. It's been working. It's been there all day.
It's going to come, and Brush has got to be able to pick it up. Hopefully they've got the message to their line from the sidelines.
Norris lined up just to the right of the nose tackle, and here he comes. Confusion in the backfield. Verostic gets out of it. May have a first down. He does, to the 40 and down to the 39-yard line. Again, Maury Norris in the backfield, like almost greased lightning, just couldn't hang on.
The thing that stopped Norris, Craig, as you watch, it was a play fake to the back, so the back got in the way.
Actually,
it ran into the quarterback. Verostic showing good speed there.
Yeah, German, after the confusion, actually got the legs out from underneath Norris, so good heads up on his part.
They've got to make that adjustment, though. It's not something very difficult that's happening. It's just a linebacker blitzing straight ahead.
You got a guy 6'2", 211 chasing you down like Maury Norris.
You're going to run fast, right?
Verostic with some time dumps it over and is picked off. Brent Sullivan picks it off, and he's got some running room. Verostic's the man he's got to beat. And Verostic drags him down just outside the Brush 42. And there's another self-inflicted wound.
There's too much pressure on the quarterback, Craig. Kind of just threw it up.
Really, looking at the coverage, it was tough coverage down there. There may not have been a man open. It may have been better off to throw it in the cheap seats.
Or just take the sack.
Yeah.
Take the sack. Let's do it again the next play.
He actually got some time here. There's nobody.
He's got pressure right in his face.
So 7:50 to go here now, and Orange has the ball back. Ball is on the 42-yard line of the Brush Arts. They run Za in motion. And they pitch it back to Tom Harvey. And a good defensive effort by the Arts there. 30 was there, and 36. Dana Duca and Brian German, and the flags go flying. I wonder if we're going to have an unsportsmanlike conduct call here. Came in at the end of the play.
Great hit by Duca.
Number 66.
Personal foul.
Personal foul against the Arcs.
Don Vitovitz, excuse me. That's 15 big ones.
They hit him a little late.
See if we can get that on the replay if we've got it. Another one of those shoot yourself in the foot. It's one thing to be aggressive, but you have to be aggressive within the realm of what you're trying to accomplish as a defense. You can't be giving up 15 yards for jumping on top of somebody when they're down. Ball is on the 27-yard line. Now Orange in a definite threat to score once again. And they hand the ball to Harvey. Picks up another couple of yards. Met there by Tim Weidenkopf, 46, I believe.
Duca again as well. Duca's played a fine ball game so far. From his linebacker spot.
Down to 7 minutes to go in the first half. It's a 2nd down and 8 to go. Brian Bloom hands the ball to John Levine, breaks the tackle, down inside the 15-yard line. Hanging on was Chris Siccardi, number 62. Also Anthony Trevisano in there. Watch it again as he breaks a tackle.
Orange is hurting Brush where we thought they wouldn't, is on the outside and the perimeters. They're not really hurting them straight at them.
It's a 1st down and 10. They spot the ball, it looks like, at about the 14-yard line.
If Brush can keep them out of the end zone here, Craig, at least hold them to a field goal, would really help their cause. They have nobody on the wide out down here. Okay.
They hand it to Levine. He's tripped up in the backfield.
Anthony
Trevisano, 21.
Coming with that free safety blitz again, Craig. It worked last time. It works again this time.
So far, the blitzes have been very effective for both clubs tonight. Coming up on the 6-minute mark, and as John said, it would be a heck of a blow to Brush if they allow Orange to score, but if they can at least hold them to a field goal, one of those moral victories. So it's a 2nd down and 10, no gain on the play, actually a loss of about 6 or 8 inches. And they give the ball to Sullivan, trying to get outside, and he can't do it.
Kurt Keelink, another good play from his defensive end spot. He slowed him down, and Duca was there to finish him off.
And as we talked about earlier, we thought they might have trouble going wide, and in the last 2 plays they have. So it's going to be a 3rd and long, about 3rd and 8. The scoreboard says 3rd and 97, but I don't think it's quite that far. So we'll call it a 3rd down and 8. Double wides to the bottom of your screen, or to the left of your screen.
There'll be some kind of combination route down here.
He had Grayhouse open. Bloom coughs it up, but it's going to be recovered by number 38, or John Levine.
That's a loss of 7 yards in the fumble, Craig. Back to the 21-yard line. We're talking about a 38-yard field goal now.
Now they've got a kicker by the name
opposed to a 28-yard.
Of Bob Bartos, and Bartos is coming in to tow it up. Watch
Where's
it
the
again.
hit?
A helmet right on the ball.
Duca again, I believe.
Yep. Duca's name being spread around. 4th down and 14. Bartos is in to attempt what's going to be about a 38-yard field goal.
And he's kicking from the left hash.
Blum will hold. Little high snow. They run a pitch, and it's not going to get it done, I don't think. They keep stringing it out. He was hit by everybody and finally brought down. So
that's a big play for the Brush defense. Hopefully, they can take that momentum, Craig, put it into their offense and get something going here before half.
All right, let's go down, and Scott Zarilla's got something down on the field. What do you got for us, Scott?
Well, Craig, I was over on the Orange sideline, and Brian Hershey, a defensive player for the Lions, he jammed his back a little bit. He's having some pain in it. They're not really sure if they're going to put him in the first half, but they're pretty sure he'll be back in the second half. Nothing real serious. More precautionary for the time being.
All right, well, thank you very much. Play is resuming. Mike Vorostik is quarterback for Brush, and the Brush Arcs have held Orange. Ooh, and Jerome takes a vicious hit, picks up a yard or two.
Norris with the hit. He's made a few of those.
Yes, he has. Now, from the Orange standpoint, it got to be a little deflating to move the ball down. And it looked like they were moving it pretty well, and all of a sudden the brick wall was there. The bend but don't break defense of Brush. You know, I tell you, on that last route, Grayhouse, they ran a little cross, and he was open, but Bloom, being a left-hander, rolling the other way,
right.
couldn't find him. It would have been an almost impossible throw. Borostic back to throw, steps up across the middle and throws it over the head of number 49, Akash Gupta.
Too much pressure, Craig. He's got people in his face every time he goes to throw the football.
I tell you, from our angle, it was tough to even see him. He was surrounded by so many people. I knew there was somebody in there somewhere, and the ball came popping out of the crowd. We'll call it a third down and 8 to go as we're down to 3:18. The clock is stopped because of the incomplete pass. And coming up at halftime, we'll have a Scott Zarilla interview.
I'll say this about Mike Vorostik. He will stick his nose in there and stay in the pocket. He's a tough cookie. He's impressed me with his guts.
Hey, Coach Reisland's got to be real pleased, though, about the Orange defense so far. They had that one little spurt there the last series where they gave up some yardage, but for the most part, they are hitting people.
Something they do best.
Up the middle to Jerome. Picks up a couple of yards, 3 or 4, and that'll be another punting situation. Bill Tipton will come in to punt for Brush. Chris Simpendorfer on the tackle along with Maury Norris. There's those two backers they have.
Any 5-2 read defense, Craig, you need 2 great inside linebackers, and Orange has 2 of them.
So we've got 2:48 and counting. Bill Tipton in the kick, and single setback is Brent Sullivan, number 9.
Galen Greathouse not back to receive the punt.
Almost
because
blocked.
he almost blocked it.
Sullivan called for the fair catch, and he'll go down at the 49-yard line. So again,
Orange sent 10 people. Orange sent 10 people on the punt.
Almost got it.
Almost.
Greathouse came flying by.
Greathouse went, you know, he went 78 yards with a punt return last week and was called back.
That's got to be disheartening, huh? So we've got the 2-minute offense here. 2 minutes and 33 seconds to be exact, as Brian Blum brings the troops back out. They've moved the football pretty well here in the first half. Got the 1 score.
Brush has got to hang on here now before half.
Going in at 7-0 down would be nice for them. Of course, Orange would love it to be 14 zip. Sullivan hit, spun around by number 72, Manny McCall. They pick up a couple of yards. Real conservative on the first down play here. We'll see what they call second down.
Could see some play action pass now. They may have been setting it up with that run on first down. Still got over 2 minutes left, so there's plenty of time for the Lions.
And they've still got 3 timeouts left.
Greathouse getting bumped out here.
Dave Perlman is on him, and that's where they're going to go, and he's going to be hit. Stayed on his feet, and he's still going. It's going to be close to a first down, but it's going to depend on where they... Anthony Trevisano and Dave Perlman, among others.
He's exciting, isn't he?
It's. Now I'm looking here. I'm trying to make a call here. I would say, put the ball down, guys.
Just as I'm trying to...
Oh, it's way over here. Tough angle, Coach, but I think he got it. Well, let me see. If Coach Schuchart would move, I'd be able to tell for sure. But chances are he's not going to move.
Well, they have a timeout.
Orange is going to take a timeout to measure.
Yeah, go ahead with water.
I think both teams took a timeout there. Now they're saying who called it first.
I think Orange, according to the public address announcer. I think he might have gotten it, but not by much, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Sure wouldn't move.
It's going to be third down. Bring it in.
Third down and inches.
I'll take the ball. I'll take.
Wow, look at how close that
Streak
is.
is snapped.
The streak has been snapped. It's because Jim Schuchart wouldn't move. I'll have to talk to you about that later on, Jim.
Here we go. Take it in.
Don't forget that this month on Senior Lifestyles, you can catch Indians legend Bob Feller. That's every Saturday at 9:30 a.m. and Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. right here on Channel 35. So we're down to a minute 46 to go. It's a third down and about the nose of the football for a first down.
Got 2 timeouts left. He's probably going to see a running play to get the first down and then a hurry-up offense, Craig. And either throw the ball out of bounds or throw an out pattern to stop the clock.
My spirit has been broken after that missed call. The second one in 3 years I've missed. It's right in front of me, too. Here we go.
Those are the toughest ones.
Yes, they are. Can't see the trees from the forest. They go right up the gut, first down. Levine pops through. Picks up a big chunk of yardage, about 6 or 7 yards.
Impressive run by the co-captain. They are getting in the huddle. I thought they'd go right from the line of scrimmage.
Well, they've got the ball now spotted between the the 32 and the 33-yard line. With a minute and 39 and counting, they've still got, I believe, 2 timeouts. I'm almost sure that they were the ones that were charged with that.
They were in and out of the huddle very quickly. Rush has changed coverages. They're going man-to-man with two free safeties.
Blum going to fire it up for Greathouse, and he threw it out of the field about 2 or 3 yards outside the sideline. That was a non-catchable ball.
Rush changed coverages at the last second. They jumped everybody man-to-man and went with 2 free safeties.
So again, Brush trying to hang on here and go into the locker room down 7-0. Orange would love another score here. Kind of give them a little breathing room to start the second half. They will get the ball in the second half. They deferred their winning of the coin toss. So they'll get the ball to start the second half. Sullivan goes in motion. They zip it across the middle to Norris. He caught the ball shy of a first down by about 2 or 3 yards. So that brings up a third down. And Orange is going to take another timeout, and we believe that's their second that they've taken so far. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, Scott Cirillo with an interview and also some of the marching bands, and we'll come back with the statistical story of this one before we get into the second half. And if you're tired of Oprah or Geraldo, tune into Cablevision's own Dr. Joe Miller each week on Eastwatch, Sundays at 10:30 in the morning and Tuesdays at 9:30 in the evening right here on Channel 35.
Okay, with 1 timeout left, a minute 12. We have a 3rd and 3, so you're probably, again, going to see a running play to get the first down as you see the officials on your screen.
The voice you'll be hearing will be Gary Plucinski. He is the referee. Jim Bryan, Bob Moran, Don Brown, and Ray Anthony. So it's a 3rd down and 3 situation here. Now the lights have kicked in, so there's no longer at that dusky time of the night. See both bands across the way getting set to put on their halftime show here at Korb Field on the campus of Brush High School. 3rd down and 3.
Norris and Sullivan to the left at the bottom of the screen.
Now they run Sullivan in motion. Blum to throw. Fires it up, and it's going to be intercepted. So Brush has done the job again. Trevisano with the interception, kind of a lame duck. A little bit of pressure on the quarterback that time.
They came with a little bit of pressure. German shooting the gap, put some pressure on him, and Bloom with his lack of ability to move around in the pocket didn't have a lot on it when he threw it.
Now you got a little over a minute to go here. Actually, a little under a minute as the clock is running.
It's called sit on the ball, Craig.
Yeah, that's what I...
Go in 7-zip. Be happy.
As best as we can figure, Orange only has the 1 timeout left. They can only stop the clock once, so it's the...
I don't think you're going to see anything different from Jim Shukart. He's going to fall on the football.
Yeah.
Well, he's not going to, but his players are.
Yeah, what do we got? A delay? We may have a delay.
Might be a delay, and that don't hurt him.
Dead ball foul, delay, offense.
There you hear it.
You probably see Orange take their timeout.
Foul, delay, offense. First down.
So it becomes 1st down and 15, but that's really academic at this point. The ball is spotted at the 7-yard line. They hand the ball off to Coe. That surprises me that they would mess around with a handoff down that close to the goal line. And we're down to 24 seconds, and the whistle hasn't blown yet, so that'll do it for the end of the first quarter. That'll be the last play that we'll see run. So the Brush Sharks will go into the locker room trailing the Orange Lions by a score of 7-0. Orange had their opportunities and couldn't put another nail into that Brush Art team, and Brush has got to be happy about the fact that they hung on.
Exactly, and I think they're going to go into the locker room feeling good about themselves, Craig. Only down 7-0. Defense has played well. They're going to be happy about that.
And Orange has got to be happy at the fact that they found out they could move the football against this team, but now they got to make the big play. So that's the end of the first half. The score is Orange 7, Brush nothing.
Lions boom, first play touchdown, and that's the game because the stats are even. As you look at the rushing, Lions a little bit in favor. Passing's very comparable. Turnovers is very comparable, of course, in the Arcs with more penalties, and again, penalties have haunted the Arcs.
Just going to say, and it's only the second week, and you hate to see trends already in 2 weeks, but that could be one that will stick out and something that they're going to have to work on. And keep in mind, out of those 30 yards, 15 was on the roughing call after the play, a dead ball foul. So other than that, from the line of scrimmage, they had 15 yards, so it's not that bad.
Of course, the leading rushers in the game so far for Orange, Sullivan, 6 carries for 37 yards.
Including that touchdown.
Yeah, and of course, for Brush, Don Jerome, who had 29 yards and 6 carries, most of that coming in the second quarter when they started to move the ball a little bit.
So what do you see from Brush's standpoint here now? Orange has shown that they can run the football, and they picked up some chunks of yards. What about Brush? What are they going to have to do here?
Well, first of all, they need to get those pass protection breakdowns ironed out, Craig. They cannot have that. If a guy beats a blocker, that's one thing, but when a blocker doesn't even get there to make an attempt to block somebody, that's a problem. I'm sure they ironed that out at halftime. They made their adjustments at halftime and got that worked out. They need to stay out of 3rd and long. Easier said than done, but one way to stay out of that, throw the ball on first down when you don't get the blitz.
Sure. Now, what about from Orange's standpoint here? They were able to move the football, but again, if you look at the stats, the stats were really not indicative, I don't think. I thought Orange really did a nicer job on offense than Brush did. I mean,
where they had their success was on the perimeter, and I think they got to go back to that. They had most of their long runs are outside the tackles, using their speed, because they definitely have some speed in the backfield. They need to go back to that, get the ball out on the perimeter, toss sweep and the option, and get them tailbacks out on the perimeter. And the second thing is they got to get the ball to Galen Greathouse. You got a wide receiver with that kind of ability. You got to give him the ball somehow. So look for maybe an end-around screen pass. Any way to get him the football and let him do his thing.
They didn't even really get the ball to Maury Norris in the first half. They tried, and they had the one ball picked off as he got spun around. But we're just about 10 or 15 seconds away from the second half kickoff, which Orange will get. They had the ball for a long time in the first half. Again, when we saw the stats, it kind of made me shake my head. But we get it from one of the best.
Well, our stat crew, John Besdick, who does just a tremendous job here at Brush every year.
Whose kids are now gone out of Brush, but he's still sitting in a press box keeping stats. That tells you something about dedication.
That's right. Keeping stats, but he's training somebody. Ron Petransky, teach him a little bit because John's going to be away at some of the college games watching his son play ball. So
sure. Bryan, who played last year and did a nice job on this Brush Arc team, is playing up somewhere in Massachusetts, I believe.
Holy Cross.
Holy Cross. And it's going to be some serious drives.
Definitely.
For Dad and Mom.
Family.
All right, back deep to receive the kick. Galen Greathouse along with Brent Sullivan. And number 23, Steve Melman is the kicker. He's also a soccer player. He's got a pretty good leg on him.
We'll see if Melman kicks the ball away from those deep backs and just squibs it.
Dumped it in a nice spot. Sullivan's going to pick it up at the 18, and good coverage by Brush. He only got it back to about the 25. Tom Weidenkoff led the charge for Brush. Also see 28 Mike Strong in on the tackle also, as well as number 26 Dave Perlman. So Orange will get it back. They've got the ball right on their own 25-yard line. It's a first down and 10. Brian Blum is the quarterback, number 5. They're going to spit Brian Slomolovitz out on the left side, and he's got coverage there by Mike Krebs. He's in motion as we saw that. Here they come. They were blitzing on the play, picked up well. And John Levine pushes it up for a 5 or 6 yard gain.
Right off the bat, Orange goes outside, Craig, outside the tackles, try to attack. I'm sure they talked it over with their coaches, said, hey, we had success running outside the tackles. Let's get back to that.
And a nice healthy pickup there on first down of 7 yards as you watch it again. Just ran over Dave Perlman, put his shoulders down and went.
He's a strong back.
5'8", 183 goes Levine. Now they run Sullivan in motion. And they bring it back to Tom Harvey, 35, and he's got the first down and more up close to the 40-yard line. So they keep it on the ground and they pick up a first down.
And a counter play. And a nice trap block. Todd Hockman.
39-yard line. It'll be first down.
Rush had a chance to get him in the backfield, but he was able to cut back away from the defender. And so Orange moving the ball once again here. They've got the ball on the 39-yard line, double wideouts to the bottom of your screen. Za and Greathouse, but they go right back up the middle again for not a whole lot. As the Brush defense does a nice job of stuffing things up the middle.
What a stunning defense will do for you, Craig, is sometimes it makes it tough running inside because you don't know where the people are going. But you can beat it outside because if you got everybody coming and you can seal them guys off, and you get outside, you got some space there.
So we're in the third quarter. Orange leads it by a score of 7-0, and they're moving the football. They've got the ball on their own 43-yard line. It's second down and 8. A lot of motion in Chuck Reisland's offense. They run a little delay and a counter back to Sullivan, breaks the tackle and up and over for a first down. Finally knocked down by Anthony Trevisano.
There's a counter play, pull a backside guard and tackle, pull Chad Garson, Bob Cugini. As you watch it, very similar to the play the Washington Redskins run so well, the counter tray, except they run it with the slot back.
Now Orange has the ball in Brush territory on Brush's 49-yard line. They give it back to Sullivan. And he's got another first down into the secondary of Brush, tackled by 62, Chris Siccardi.
The offensive line of Orange is starting to take control of this game, Craig. They haven't even thought about throwing the ball yet.
So it's another first down for the Lions. Greathouse comes back in the game, as well as 35, Tom Harvey.
Sullivan really makes a lot of people miss, Craig. More shifting by the offense.
And tough go on the handoff back from the center. And that's going to be Josh Trentine, who's going to put the wraps on Brian Blum. Just had a tough go getting it from the center that time.
Chad Garson pulled, so I think it was supposed to be some kind of counter back to the right side. And they got mixed up with the handoff.
Now it's a second down and 15. Sullivan is a slot. And then Brian Slomovitz at the bottom of your screen.
Greathouse not in the game, Craig.
Not at all. Looking for Slomovitz. I don't know if he's going to get him. He stepped up and he trapped the ball. Slomovitz did a nice job of coming back to the ball, but didn't break back far enough as the ball was short hopped in there. And that'll make it a third down and 15 to go.
A lot of this offense really does not suit quarterback Bloom. He really is not a rollout type quarterback.
Almost a nice catch there by Slomovitz. So now we got a third down and 15. There's 8 minutes to go. And more of that motion. Norris now a wide out to the bottom of your screen. And he's looking that way, crossing pattern, and he can't get it, or did he? No, he didn't. It dropped in, but we got a flag on a play. Possible holding call on the line of scrimmage, maybe. No, we got motion on the offense. Norris
Illegal
had it.
motion. Offense.
Norris had it in his hands, and then he was being dragged down from behind at the same time.
Guys are grabbing him from behind, and Anthony Trevisano came up and put a hit on him.
And, uh-oh, we're in big trouble, Cranes. There's the first half of the game laying there on the sideline. Tape is everywhere.
Oh, well.
So it's a 4th down and 16. They decline the penalty. And a punting situation for Brent Sullivan. So once again, Brush bends but does not break. And only 10 men on the field for Brush that time. And a nice high kick. Fair catch is going to be called for by Mike Krebs. And Brush will get it on their own 14-yard line and take it over 1st down and 10. Only 10 guys on the field that time for Brush. They had a man running in late there. They almost got to that ball, too.
Inexperience.
It's a succeeding spot, so it's 15 from here.
Right here.
We got another flag, Craig, and officials
That's
trying
sportsmanlike, right?
to get this one squared away.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, either one, yeah. It's illegal participation. Right. Right. So, okay, let me get the signal first.
Craig, I think they had 11.
But illegal participation on the defense.
I think they had 12 men on the field.
Yeah, I guess they had 11.
Yeah.
And somebody thought they were supposed to be on something they weren't and ran out of the field. This is interesting for Orange now.
They would have to kick it over, and I don't think they would want to. Possibility of the ball going in the end zone on a punt and giving up another 5 yards. And it is, they would take it from this the previous play.
So it's going to the 7 1/4.
They're going to move it back from here.
You're going to tell them, Gary.
Dead ball foul, Craig. So
Illegal participation, Brush. It'll be 1st down on the 7 1/4 yard line.
half the distance to the goal line.
Right. And the 7 1/4 yard line, we might add. So 8:02 remains in the 3rd quarter. Brush has the ball again, very, very deep in their own territory.
You just get the feeling that every time this happens, you know, depending on how many, you know, it just keeps happening and happening, sooner or later something's going to happen bad.
Or in Orange's case, something's going to happen good. Because Galen Greathouse comes back in the game now, and he's signaling him off. Let's count those guys. They've got 12 men on the field.
Takes a timeout before they give it right back. Give them 7 1/4 yards right back.
And here's Chuck Reisland comes running out onto the field. And if you want to know what's hot and what's not, find out when Cablevision throws the spotlight in your neighborhood on Spotlight 35 this Sunday at 9:30 p.m. and Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. only on your community channel, Channel 35. So 8:02 remains in the 3rd quarter. And now we're playing a little numbness upstairs here on these two teams. They have a little bit of trouble keeping their heads in the game right now.
Early in the season, special teams getting the guys on the field that should be on the field. It's always tough, but especially early in the season.
Something that's never tough is Geppetto's Pizza and Ribs, especially the ribs. The ribs are very good. The first place in taste, 691-1000. And across the street, Warehouse Beverage for all your beverage needs, 382-2400. Beautiful night for football here. As we said back in the first half, it has just turned out to be delightful. It's not even sweater weather yet. It's real nice. About 70, probably about 70, 72 degrees right now. No breeze to speak of.
The defense has dominated this game so far, Craig.
So Brush has the ball. Mike Vorostik, the quarterback.
As we thought it might.
Yes.
Going in.
They give it to the big fullback, Tom Coe, pushes it up close to the 10-yard line. It's only got a yard or so. And it'll be a 2nd down for Brush.
Trying to attack that weak side of the Orange defense.
Todd Kleckner comes running in as Sean Welsh goes out to run in the new play for quarterback Mike Vorostik. Vorostik is a junior, 5'9", 148 pounds. Jerome and Co. in the backfield, and they run into each other again, and Borostik's in big trouble, and he goes down inside the 5. Trouble in the backfield with those handoffs now. It's 2 out of the last 3 plays.
Not good news for the Arcs. They need to get those things taken care of. See it in a replay.
Good thing he didn't take another step backwards. He'd have been in big trouble. The ball is spotted. It looks to be about the 3-yard line as Krebs will run in a play now.
Look for Orange to come after him on this play.
And Bill Tipton's got to be sitting on the sideline thinking, here we go again. If I'm going to be punting, I'm standing in the end zone, and I got to get it off.
We'll keep an eye on Moran. There he comes, Maureen Norris.
Right up the middle. Borostik airs it out for Krebs, and he overthrows it. That's a good zip on that football. Galen Greathouse on the coverage for Orange, and that brings up a 4th down, and that will bring on Bill Tipton. A little bit of pressure here on Tipton as he's going to be deep in his own end zone. How close to the goal line do you have to be before you start altering the distance your punter is back from the line of scrimmage? Are they in that territory now where they may be given an extra yard or 2?
Maybe just starting to. Usually, most teams go back anywhere from 12 to 15 yards, depending on how good your snapper is. So he's still pretty much at a normal pace right now.
He got off a decent kick. Greathouse going to field it at the 35. The 25 flags come flying in, and another flag comes flying in. That may be good news for Brush. We may have a penalty against Orange.
38 White on the run back. End of the run here. Flips there. Okay. Well, you got it back there. I got a clip on 64 White here. Okay.
Well,
I have it on 38.
We'll take this one. Tell the coach that both of them clip.
64 and 38.
Okay, there's a clip.
64.
There, 38 and 64 are both clipped. Yeah.
Here.
And there you see the call. Clipping is the call.
Clipping on the run back by the receiving team. 1st down.
43-yard line, 1st down 10.
Great field position again for Orange, Craig.
See Sullivan in motion now. Blum is the quarterback. They're going to run the option. He's dragged down from behind. Another good defensive effort by the Arcs. Josh Trentine, number 48, on the tackle.
The linebacker blitzed, found the seam, got to the option before it had a chance to happen, Craig.
So under 6 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. The ball is now spotted on the Brush Arcs 46-yard line. And Orange now in a situation of 2nd down and 12. And they give the ball to the near side to Levine. And he drags Trentine with him for a little bit of a ride of about 5 yards, but it'll still be a 3rd down and 6 or 7.
Levine is really a no-nonsense type runner, Craig. He really comes right at you, runs north and south.
Not real flashy, just puts his head down and
keeps them legs driving.
So the ball is spotted right on the Brush 40-yard line. It is a 3rd down and 7. Blum goes back to throw. He pumps once. He's going to fire it up in the air. Got a lot of air under that ball, and it is incomplete. Flying into the play, Anthony Trevisano. Pass was intended for Brent Sullivan, but it was overthrown by a good 5 or 6 yards.
It seemed like Sullivan kind of gave up on the ball a little early.
Well, when Blum throws it, he gets a lot of air under that thing. He's not a line drive kind of a passer.
And that type of pass was more suited to what he does best, a straight drop back without the rollout.
So Orange is forced to punt again, and that means Brent Sullivan will do the honors. Number 10, Mike Krebs, and 22, Don Jerome, and he's going to have to run it on a bad snap, and he's collared and he's dropped, and there's a big play. 57, Kurt Gilling, and John and Brian German, number 30. in on that play.
There's the big play Brush needed, Craig. Defense has sparked them. Now you might see a little first down pass, Craig. Throwing first down without the blitz coming. They got good field position.
The ball is just inside Orange's portion of the 50-yard line. And what do we got? Thought he fumbled the football, and he picked it back up, and he might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage.
Exactly.
Boy, you look at
watching Jim Shukart.
I was just going to say, an exasperated Jim Shukart.
You know, come up with a big play, got the ball, good field position, first play fumble, a snap from center. Luckily, he at least got back to the line of scrimmage.
More luckily, he got the ball back. 2nd down and 10 now. No gain on the play. And Orange's offensive woes continue. The only time they scored, they had the ball to start their drive on the 20-yard line of Brush. Borostic on a delay to Jerome, and he's got some running room. To the 40. Dragged down from behind to about the 36-yard line.
Used a great stiff arm, Craig.
Brad Hershey on the tackle. He was the guy that had a little bit of back trouble in the first half. He's back in the game. Watch it again, a nice delay.
Jerome takes a break, and he's feeling the effects of playing two ways, Craig. He's been guarding. He's the monster back in our defense. He's been guarding the man in motion most of the night. So I'm telling you, he's been really working out there.
And again, you look at his size at only 5'4", 165. Taking on those big guys play after play is not easy.
Rush on the move now.
So Brian German now in the game. Borostic hangs on to it, picks up a couple of yards, but we got a flag on the play, and we'll see what this is all about.
Illegal motion.
And it's a motion call against Brush, and again,
Right guard wasn't down fast enough. You weren't set for a second.
they do it to
5
themselves
yards.
again.
5 yards from here. Whoa. Well, they said they'd take it, so it's be first. Be first in.
You're going backwards, right? You're going the wrong way. You're going backwards.
Yeah.
So Orange
Thanks, Bobby.
hoping they can come up and stiffen up here once again and
Illegal
hold these
motion
guys.
on the offense. First down.
There's 3:07 to go here in the third quarter. The Brush Arcs have the football. It's a first down and 15 now. Jerome still not back in the game. Borostic to throw. Pumps it, he's got a man, and that's trouble. Picked off. Brad Hershey picks it off. And another turnover by the Arcs and another big play by the Orange Lions, and they get the ball back again. But there is a flag on the play on the far side.
Play action fake to the back, Craig. Went with a bootleg.
Okay. Ineligible receiver, number 62, downfield, refused. First down.
To continue, a bootleg play. Threw it over the wrong shoulder of the receiver, Dana Duca. Ball should have been to the outside of Duca. He threw it to the inside, where the coverage was.
So Orange gets the ball back on Brush's 24-yard line. So if anything, they don't have the great field position they're used to having.
As I say, Brush gained field position, if nothing else.
And that means Brian Blum at the helm again. Right up the middle they go. Good surge by the offensive line. Picks up a couple of yards. Don Jerome in on the tackle. Also coming up off the pile is Dan Vedovitz. So they give him a gain of 4 yards on the play, make it 2nd down and 6. Actually, it looks closer to 7 from here. You've got Levine and Harvey in the backfield. Harvey the deep back. They give it to the deep back. Got some running room, got the first down and more. Trevisano on the tackle again.
Nice hold that time by the Orange offensive line. You see it there on the replay.
House is not in the ball game this series either. Here's the counter. Back to Sullivan, takes a hit, but keeps on going and leads forward for another couple of yards.
3-yard line.
They pulled Todd Hockman and Bob Cugini from the backside
And Reisland made the tackle.
on the counter. One will kick out, one will lead the back through the hole.
It is a 2nd down and 5 as we're approaching the 1-minute mark here in the 3rd quarter. Orange has the football with the lead. Greathouse going to the top of your screen. You can just barely see him in there. And they run it to the near side to Levine. Close to a 1st down. Where they spotted, I don't think he got it.
Craig, you got a chance to redeem yourself.
It's too close. It's a tough angle. I can't see. I don't think so. I think he's a little shy myself. But I've been wrong before once.
But I'm going to have to jump on the bandwagon here on this one.
You like that call, huh?
I like the call.
Okay, we're going to bring it in.
What do we win, Craig?
I don't know. Win something. We're only off by 4 inches.
Okay, come bring it into the hash mark.
All right, so Orange will have the
It's gonna
ball.
be
It'll
third,
be
right?
short yardage, short inches actually, with 44 seconds to go here in the quarter. Nice crowd on hand. The stands across the way have filled up from earlier this evening. Talking about 6 inches here and a 3rd down.
Look for power football behind Bob Cugini, their big tackle. Rush is coming with an 8-man front. Almost a 9-man front, Craig. Oh, the P word again, Craig. Penalty.
And it's against Orange this time.
Oh, on the offense, false start, 55.
55 with a false start. That would be Nick Bryan, the right tackle.
Yeah, tackle pickup. We have a dead ball foul, illegal procedure on the
Left
offense.
tackle. What Orange does is they
Third down.
flip-flop their guard and tackles, Craig. What they call it, a lot of offenses do that. They'll call it a quick side guard and tackle and a strong side guard and tackle. And one side's maybe been a little better at trapping and pulling, and the other side's maybe a little better at blowing people off the line of scrimmage.
So now it becomes a 3rd down and 5 and 4 inches. And they're going to run the option. Blum's going to hang on. We got a flag on the play. I think we got to clip somebody rolling around down on the field. Brian German, I think, got rolled over from behind. What do we got? Holding. See if we can see German down here. And again, Orange giving Brush some breaks here with a big penalty, going to march it back even farther.
Holding 27, 10 yards from that spot.
We've talked about Brush and their penalties all night, but the last 2 times now that Orange has had the football, they've shot themselves in the foot.
Holding, offense, 3rd down.
So now it is a 3rd down and 12.
Last year, Craig, these 2 teams met. Brush came away a 17-3 victor, and they handed Orange one of their losses last year. Brush was 7-3 last year and had a nice squad.
Greathouse to the top of the screen. And they're looking that way, crossing pattern. They overthrow him. And Anthony Trevisano saw that ball coming and slipped and fell on the turf, or he might have picked that one off.
Great pressure by Manny McCall.
Now it's a 4th down and 12.
Brush's defense has hung tough.
Yes, they have.
Kept them in the game. Their offense just needs to get one drive where they can get something going.
And Orange has not made any devastatingly bad plays that have brought Brush that. And we got a whistle right before the snap. Brush is going to take a timeout. And I'll tell you what, Coach Shue is not exactly pleased right now. And again, that's what it goes down to.
On the Brown, right?
Tell you what, if it's a numbers problem again, somebody's going to hear about it.
Yeah. You know, it's one thing to have the physical mistakes and be able to overcome those, but when you start doing the mental mistakes, that's what eats you up inside.
It really does, because guaranteed they go over it a million times in practice.
Sure.
If you'd like to write us a card or a letter, drop us a line, please do. Cablevision Sports, 7 Severn Circle, Cleveland Heights, Ohio, 44118. Really like for you to drop us a line, send us a note, let us know what you're...
That is the most frustrating thing to me as a coach, is the mental mistakes.
Sure is, especially concentration, not knowing where you're supposed to be at a certain time. A veteran coach like Jim Schuchard, you know he goes over it time and time again in practice.
So a wasted timeout for Brush. Brent Sullivan to kick. Don Jerome goes back deep. We got somebody new back there. You read that number, Coach?
Looks like
Dave Perlman, I think, 26. And they were coming after it. And they launched that almost into the first row of bleachers.
Well, they forced a bad kick, Craig. A lot of times, that's as good as a block. They forced a bad kick. A lot of times, coaches will tell the kids, get a good rush on, make a lot of noise, and cause the bad kick. And that's an interesting spot, Craig.
Oh, that's a very interesting spot. And you can hear the fans below us. They don't like it either. Got to be at least 10 yards.
And the line judge is not happy with the spot. They're going to leave it there, though.
They have to, because it almost hit directly where the ball is spotted, almost in the stand.
The ball should be around the 50-yard line.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing they can do about it now, so you got to put it behind you and go from there. Still great field position for Brush, and Orange kicker Brent Sullivan really had the pressure put on him that last time. They hand the ball to Brian German, and he's popped, and they say no fumble. So he picked up about 2 yards.
And I think Brush dodged a bullet right there, Craig. That was a quick whistle. Corey Norris laid a hit on him.
Well, we have come to the end of the third quarter. The score is the same as it was after the first quarter. 7-0, Orange leads, and we'll be back. Talk to Scott Cirillo.
I'm with Jamie Eisman, the Golden Girl and the head twirler here for Brush. What exactly is the head twirler?
I plan on going to college, and I hope to continue my twirling there.
All right, Jamie, well, thanks a lot. And we're going to take it back up to the booth right now.
Don Jerome there with a run, and not much there. As the Orange stands erupted, the fans starting to get into this one as we're into the fourth quarter of this one. 7-0, Orange leads. And again, you go back, it's been a great defensive game so far. Orange made the most of their opportunity when they got the ball at Brush's 20 and punched it in right away. But other than that, it's been back and forth, chewing up the middle of the field. Couple of threats, but nothing major.
No, it really hasn't. The middle of the field is where all the action is, like you said, Craig.
It's going to be interesting here to see how well Orange can hold up. They have dodged a lot of bullets so far. They've come up with the big plays, and Brush has been unable to. If Brush can get a big play here, they fire it up, and it's off the hands of Brent Sullivan. Pass was intended for number 20, Sean Welch.
And Gupta was open on the other side of the field, and his man beat by at least 5 yards.
You know, sometimes when you get those younger quarterbacks and there with a little bit of experience, they get that tunnel vision. They don't see the whole field. Well, it's a 4th down and 8, so Brush will kick the ball back to Orange, and that's good news for Bill Tipton. Good news at least that he's on his own 30-yard line and not in his own end zone.
We don't know what to do on this one.
Sullivan is in single setback. They're coming with 10
Here
of
they
them.
come.
And they almost got it again. Grayhouse.
He forced a bad one, Craig.
And Sullivan will smother it at the 38-yard line. And oh my, you can't get much closer than that without blocking it.
It was only a 17-yard punt, so Greathouse, he doesn't get the block, but he does force the bad kick.
Made Tipton rush it. So 11 minutes to go in this one, and Orange hoping they can come up with a score here. Sure, Chuck Reisland along the far sideline would love to see even a three-pointer out of this drive. Give them a little bit of breathing room, because you never know what can happen. And Brush is showing blitz, and here they come, and it's a fumble, and it's recovered by Blum.
Brush sent 8 men that time, Craig, the free safety and both linebackers. They're trying to get Orange in that second and long situation. force them to throw the football.
That's exactly what it is, a second down and 12. Brush so far has not put any points on the board this year.
No, they haven't, and
And
you're not going to score too much against Orange's defense anyway.
Exactly. The frustrating part of that whole scenario is you play pretty good defense, at least tonight, and you're struggling to see if you can get some points on the board. They pitch it back to Sullivan. Another nice effort by the Brush defense as they whack him out of bounds. Trentine 48 on the tackle. And who else was in there? German?
Yes.
Yeah, Ryan German. So it's a third down and long. We'll call it about 7.
They ran the same play they scored the touchdown on in the first half, Craig. Bring the slot back around on the option.
The clock is stopped at 10:18 to go. Big third down play here for Orange. Third down and 7. It's a long 7. Lum hands the ball off to Harvey. Tries to get outside. He's got some running room. He's got the first down, and he's dragged out of bounds by Sean Welsh, number 20. Big play for Orange.
Anthony Trevisano had a shot at him about midfield stripe. Couldn't come up with the open field tackle. Right there. Nice stiff arm by Harvey.
So it's a first down and 10. The ball on the Brush 42.5-yard line. And now we'll see if the Brush Arts can rise to the occasion once again. Right up the gut they go to Levine. And not a whole lot up there. Real quick handoff.
They tried an inside trap. Tom Hockman pulled. Good penetration by the Brush defense. Screwed the play up before it had a chance to happen.
Tom Coe was there as well as Manny McCall. So give him a gain of a yard. We'll call it second down and 9. Under the 10-minute mark to go here in this one.
One thing we haven't touched on too much, Craig, is the fact that Brush has played this game without Adam Saperstein.
Yeah.
Their number 1 tailback from a year ago.
Deep thigh bruise. And when you get something like that, you take a wrong hit and you can forget it. And they come back with a counter, and it goes nowhere fast. Big number 72, Manny McCall.
Nice play by McCall. You can't say enough about this Brush defense. Not a lot of big kids, but they just keep coming after you. They got some quickness and some aggressiveness, and they use it to their advantage.
Brian Slomovitz checks in for Orange. It's a third down and 9. Give him no gain on the last play.
Defensive coordinator Dave Welsh and his defensive staff doing a nice job with this Brush defense.
They picked up a receiver at the bottom of your screen, but they're going to run it. They're going to come back to the near side again. And I don't think he got the first down, about a yard short. Josh Trentine and Kurt Gilnick. And here it is again, coming right at you from ground level.
Orange chooses to keep it on the ground, running wide. And almost got it. It's 4th and about 1.5, a short 2, Craig.
And there's some confusion in the Orange.
Not some, a lot.
This has been a game of confusion at times.
This is just going to be power left.
And we may have encroachment. We'll have to see. The defense was really...
Dead ball foul. We got a delay on the offense.
Delay of game.
So
that's a big call.
The P word again, penalty. And now they'll punt it.
There was a lot of confusion in Orange's huddle and then coming out of the huddle. And it looked like the Brush Arcs, they were sending everybody, and I thought maybe they had jumped offside, gotten that neutral zone, but the delay was called.
What Coach Reisland does in those short yardage situations, he gets his best blockers in there and his best power people. And what happened was Harvey didn't get off the field fast enough. There was some confusion.
Sullivan in to kick. Krebs and Jerome back deep, and they can really pin them back deep with this kick, and that's going to sail out of bounds.
And the Arcs have forced another bad punt by coming after it. And let's see if we get a better spot this time.
There you go. That's looking pretty good.
So only A 20-yard punt.
Even in that situation, if you blast it into the end zone, you still give them the ball on the 20, and you take a chance that you can down it inside there. Got a little shank off to the right side.
Let's see, now Orange has played great defense all night, but one thing they haven't done is really come up with a lot of big plays. Let's see if they can come up with a big play to get a turnover for their offense.
It's Cohen Jerome in the backfield. Akash Gupta, and that's where they're heading to Gupta, and he threw it over the outside shoulder.
Not a bad ball by Mike Verostic. Gupta needed to keep fading to the sideline. That's a fade route. You try to get that defensive back turned in towards the middle of the field as you watch it on replay. And you want the receiver to fade to the sideline away from the defender.
Galen Greathouse on the coverage that time for Orange. Make it a 2nd down and 10 now. Gonna put it up again. And there's an overthrown ball. Once again, Greathouse on the coverage, intended for Gupta.
Norris coming on the blitz, and he was picked up that time.
So we've got a 3rd down and 10 now. The Brush not real bashful about airing it out here in the late going as we're down to 7:41 to go here in the ball game.
Well, they're really not doing it on the ground, Craig, and time is not on their side at the moment. So they need to get something going. It's just 3rd and 10, and those aren't the situations you want to be in, especially if you're Mike Verostic.
They send doubles to the right side with Gupta and Krebs, and they run Welsh to the bottom. Going to put it up across the middle. Has a man. Krebs in and out of his hands. Broken up by number 80, Brad Hershey. That was a very well-thrown ball.
Had the man open.
Krebs took a shot from Hershey.
Hershey closed on it real nice as you're watching the replay.
As we're popping, 4th down now. And that brings in Bill Tipton. Most punters don't get the kind of exposure these two guys have gotten tonight. It shows you how well the defenses have played. Or if you're the pessimist, how not well the offenses have played. So take it for what it's worth, whichever one you are. But here's Tipton. Now they run Greathouse back deep along with Sullivan. So they're looking for a return. It goes to Sullivan. Takes it at the 44. Across the 50 to the 40, and he's dragged down on the near sideline. It was number 36, Dana Duca. And again, Orange with good field position. And I tell you what, we may be beating a dead horse here, but Brush has been, their defense has been
back against
saddled
the wall.
with
backs against the wall the whole night.
Poor field position. Boy, oh boy. 7:26 and counting. 7-0 Orange leads, trying to add to that lead. Except for the one series, and both teams have done absolutely nothing offensively.
Brush has got one more chance. They need to stop him here.
There's a big gainer up the middle of Tom Harvey. Got the 1st down.
Brush needs to stop him here, and they'll have one more shot offensively, probably.
And we got a man down on the field.
On the other side, Orange can put this thing away with about 2 or 3 first downs. I can't get the number of the injured Mark.
We think it's Don Vitovitz, number 66, and he went down like a ton of bricks. So we'll see what the situation is here. That's who it is down on the field. Hopefully it's just the wind knocked out him. He took a helmet in the stomach or something. Checking into the ball game for him will be Manny McCall, 72. Down to 7:01 to go.
There's that replay again. As Harvey picks up the 1st down.
Actually, whether they
spotted
spotted
it shy. So 2nd and 1. Kind of that's free play territory. 2nd and 1.
Take a look at down on the field.
Hope it's not serious. One thing that was really nice about last week, Craig, no injuries in that ball game we had. Nothing major in that ball game we had with Mayfield and West Geauga. And really not a lot of injuries tonight as well. You like to see that.
And something we like you to see is the people from Geppetto's Pizza and Ribs, the first place in taste. Give them a call at 691-1000, and you guys can drop ribs off here in the booth anytime you please. We'd love to try them out here at halftime of one of our games.
We'll let them know, see if it's all right, see if they're all right.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, you got a taste test. Warehouse Beverage, 382-2400 for all your beverage needs coming up on this Labor Day weekend.
I expect money for those segues I give you. Set you up so well.
Yeah, but you don't know they're coming, so I have to play them no matter what you say. I'm the one that has to use the talent in order to segue into them. I'll give you 50 cents. So as the time goes by, as Don Vitovich is down on the field, you start to just wonder what exactly is the problem.
Hopefully we can get Scott Cirillo over there to see if he can find out what is the problem and maybe get a report from Scott.
Okay.
In the second half, Tom Harvey really has chewed up the yardage.
Yes, he has, very quickly getting through the line of scrimmage.
For the Orange Lions, he's really ran well. It was Sullivan in the first half and Harvey in the second half.
See, Scott is getting himself prepared down on the field. Hopefully he'll be able to give us a report to what we think the injury is. And I also see Denny Krustic down there with him, the fine athletic director here at Brush High School.
See what Scott has to say. If nothing else, Brush is getting a little bit of a breather here.
Exactly.
Craig, they're defensive troops.
All right, we've got Scott standing by down on the field. Scott, are you there?
I'm here, Greg, thanks. I'm here with Dennis Krustic, the athletic director. Dennis, I understand that there's a big push for school spirit this year.
One of our athletic goals this year is try to improve community and school spirit, and we think that anyone who comes to any kind of high school athletic contest will be very pleased. I think you see the finest coaching and the greatest amount of desire from these young athletes, and we're just trying to emphasize that a Friday night football game, basketball game, whatever, is the place to bring a family and have great school spirit and community spirit.
Whose idea was this to start a campaign like this?
Well, I think it was generally our total school, our superintendent, our principal, our board of education, and our coaching staff. We've all got together and said, what can we do to make this kind of happening a better experience for kids and their parents? And I think we're doing a pretty good job. People enjoy it, and we have a nice crowd tonight. We have a fine opponent, and so I can't think of a better place to be than in a high school contest on a Friday night.
Okay, Dennis, thanks for stopping by. We're going to take it back up to the booth right now.
All right, Scott, if you get a chance, try to stop by the bench and find out what is going on down there with Don, and they're helping him off the field. He appears to be walking off under his own power.
Hopefully he's okay.
It's really difficult to see what exactly happened on the replay.
Well, and you hate to start guessing.
Yeah, I am not a doctor. But hopefully it was just a wind knocked out of him in a major way and nothing worse than that. We're ready to go again. 7 minutes and counting here. Orange has it second down and 1. Maybe a nice time for a play-action fake and air it out here a little bit. Try to go for the jugular. But they go right back up the middle. And getting the first down is Tom Harvey. Josh Trentine. I guess if it's working, you just keep going back to it.
They're also trying to run the clock, Craig. Get that clock moving. The clock is on their side at the moment. Plus, they got the ball in Brush's territory as well.
And probably in 4-down territory, soon to be field goal range. They run Za in motion. They hand the ball to Sullivan. And he's hit and driven back, but he did get a couple of yards out of it. Hung on to the football most importantly. Manny McCall and Dana Duca.
Dana Duca has been all over the field.
Yes, he has.
offensively for the Arcs.
And what's nice to hear is a lot of the names that, not that there's a whole lot of guys back from last year, but you've got some of these newer names that are popping up and stepping up and taking their place on this Brush Arc defense and making their presence felt.
Junior linebacker, 6 foot, 165 pounds, is Dana Duke.
So again, you look at the size and not a whole lot of it. 2nd down and 8. They give it right back to Harvey again. Breaks a tackle and another one. And oh my, did he take some punishment, but got close to the 1st down, and he may have gotten it. And I tell you what, he inflicted some punishment.
Their pads were popping, as they say. As you listen again, Perlman took a shot. Anthony Trevisano finally made the tackle. And they're moving the sticks again, Craig. And that's not good news for the Arcs.
So it's taken Orange a little while to be able to move the ball down the field, but they couldn't have come at a better time as they're eating up the clock as we're now down close to the 5-minute mark. They've got the ball 1st down and 10, and they keep moving those chains.
And they're wearing them down, Craig, on the line of scrimmage, in the trenches.
They go to the big fullback Levine, trying to get around the right side and can't do it. Don Jerome is there, as well as number 26, Dave Perlman.
They got 4 anyway. Watch it again on the replay.
A lot of motion. Look out.
Better hang tough.
You could just, Kramer was bailing out, folks. He thought they were coming right at us. It's a 2nd down and 6 now. Sullivan was the man in motion. And they're going to run the option, and Blum's going to hang on to it. And he's going to pick up some yardage. Did he get in? No, just shy.
Boy, he carried people all the way down to the 2-yard line, Craig.
All right, let's go down to the field and find out what Scott Cirilla has to say. Scott, you're on, buddy.
Guys, it was Don Vidovich down on the field. They took him over to the sideline. They were putting him through a lot of exercises for his shoulder. His left one is fine. His right one, they say as of now, they don't believe it's separated. They don't believe it's dislocated. The doctors seem to think it's kind of what he called a stinger. And all I can really do now is ice it down and see what happens with it later. Take a look at it later on.
All right, thanks a lot for that report. They hand the ball to Sullivan, and he can't get in, and a nice defensive effort there by Trentine.
Josh Trentine, that Russian linebackers, boy, they played Super Bowl tonight. We talked about early in the show the Orange linebackers, but the Brush backers have done a nice job tonight. Ball still at the 2-yard line, Craig. Well, maybe the 1.5.
It is now a 2nd down. They give it to Sullivan again. Touchdown. And that may just do it with Brush's offense sputtering at this point. Orange did what it took, marched the ball right down the field, kept it on the ground, and stuffed it right in for a score. And they'll try to make it 14-0 as Bob Bartos comes in to attempt the point after.
Brent Sullivan's 2nd touchdown of the night.
And a bad snap, but it's pulled down very nicely by the holder Blum. And it is good. So with 3:57 to go in the ball game, the Orange Lions lead the Brush Arcs by a score of 14-0.
It doesn't look good for the Arcs, Craig. Like you said, with the offense and having their problems, not to mention going against one of the best defenses around in the area.
A team that, again, up until this point, has not let any team, whether it be scrimmage or a game, get into the end zone.
You'd have to think their chances for a shutout are pretty good.
So 14-0 is the score. We're here at Corb Field, Brush High School. Again, we'd like to thank Denny Krustic and his staff here at Brush for being ever so hospitable to us, as they always are, and treating us very nicely, making sure that we have the things that we need to get this job done, and we really do appreciate that.
Well, all the guys up here, Rick Love and John Besdick, and all the guys up here at Brush, Jimmy Artino, do a great job. Really take care of us, Craig.
So Bartos to kick off, and another squibber taken by one of the up men. at about the 35. And he can't go anywhere, and as Josh Trentine, or check that, make that 46, Tim Weidenkopf.
Things don't get any easier next week for Brush, Craig, as they travel to North Olmsted. North Olmsted has a super ball club this year, so things don't get any easier. Of course, Orange will host the East Lake North Rangers, who are in the midst of a 31-game losing streak. So teams going in opposite directions.
Who does North have tonight, by the way?
The North plays Collinwood tonight, so hopefully they can break that string.
A good friend of ours, Dan Kukur, at the helm there, pulling his hair out, but the wins will come. They will come.
The wins will come this year. They need a couple just to get themselves going.
And Richmond Heights' streak continued.
And maybe as we speak, North maybe has stopped it tonight against Collinwood. A pretty good ball club, but somebody that Danny felt that he could play with.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure the phone will be ringing off the hook later on if that was the case. Setting up the smoke signals. We got a 2nd down and 10 now for Brush.
They're going with the split backs, and
they run a delay to Jerome. Stood up and dropped after about a 3-yard gain. Mo Norris and Bob Bartos in on the tackle that time. They would try to run a delay and confuse the defense, but they confused them only out of about 3 or 4 yards.
For sure. Norris on a tackle again, and interesting quote by Chuck Reisland during the week. He told me, Craig, if there's a better linebacker than Norris, he wants to see him.
Well, that's showing some confidence in your people right there, and it's real easy not to say those kind of things because you don't want to seem like you're just spouting.
Well, at 6'2" and 211 with the speed and the strength that he has, you can see where he's coming from.
Borostic is in big trouble, and I mean big trouble.
Went with the shotgun, snapped too high for him. Took his eyes off the receiver because he had to get the football. By that time, 4 Orange Lions staring him in the eyes.
And he did not go down easy. He decided he was going to stand there and take those hits. It's one thing that he may have to learn. When in doubt, hit the deck.
Another sign of inexperience.
But and coming up after the game, don't forget in the coach's corner, we'll have Chuck Reisland, assuming that things will stay the same. So we'll have to get McGilla down there to corral Chuck before he heads back to the locker room. And we're coming down to the 2-minute mark. And tipped it into kicking. There's a beauty. There's a beauty. Great house. We get to watch him run the ball now from the 30.
He's got a seam, Craig.
And he almost broke it. Hanging on for dear life the jersey, and that was number 36, Dana Duca. The guy is doing it all over the place.
I'll tell you, he saved a big, big gainer. Like Galen Greathouse. What a name. What a football name, huh?
You like that, huh?
Galen Greathouse. So watch it again. Watch Duca in the left-hand part of your screen come up with the tackle. Right there.
So Orange will have the ball now. 1st down and 10 on their own 47-yard line.
They're going to run this.
And a fumble.
And Brush has
gets it
recovered.
back. Wow. And look at Chuck walking the sideline on the other side like a caged lion. Excuse the pun.
I guarantee you, the last thing Chuck said before the quarterback went on the field is, and don't fumble.
Well, Brush has a little bit of life left in him. They got to score quickly.
Yes, exactly. Very quickly.
Minute 32 to go. And boy, hats off to this Orange defense. They have done a whale of a job tonight. Borostic to throw across the middle, and it's in and out of the hands of Brent Sullivan. Should have picked it off, and he knows it, because he was smelling goal line. So 1:16 to go in this ball game.
Of course, tomorrow night, a big one over at Lakewood Stadium, Craig.
St. Ignatius against Euclid, a rematch of a game that you saw last year right here on Cablevision Channel 35.
That should be a dandy.
And it will be on Sports Channel, Channel 33 on Cablevision Cable. Tomorrow night, I believe, at what, 10:30, Carrie, or 11 o'clock? 8 o'clock. Are they going to show live? Oh, I didn't realize that. Well, there you have it, live, 8 o'clock, Sports Channel. Borostic to throw, overshoots his receiver. Got a nice arm.
He has a good arm. He needs to learn how to control that arm, and he needs just to learn the system, learn how to be a quarterback. He's a good athlete. He needs to learn how to be a quarterback.
Now he's learning how to pick himself off of the turf tonight, because I tell you, Steve Spira was all over him.
He's shown a lot of guts, Craig.
He
really
sure
has.
is.
He's shown a lot of guts, and I can see where Jim Schuchart likes his moxie.
You got a 200-pound Spira come in crashing into him after you let that ball go. And when you're giving 50 pounds every time to these guys hitting you, it takes a lot of guts just to get back up again and say, give me the ball. So it's a 3rd down and 10 now, 1:12 to go. Borostic. Spira got him again, this time around the ankles, puts him down. And a loss of another 5 yards. They're just putting their ears back, teeing off on that Brush offensive line now, with really nothing to lose. And with a 4th and 16, they'll go for it.
Well, nothing else at this moment to do but go for it. These coaches, one thing we haven't touched on, these coaches are very good friends. They coached in the All-Star game this past summer together.
Well, a couple of class guys from a couple of class schools.
Here comes the blitz.
Borostic throws, and he's got a man. Akash Gupta for the 1st down, and there it was. Zipped that ball right in there. And a 1st down for Brush, and they still have a little bit of life left, but the clock is against them. 25 seconds to go, so.
Showing a lot of spunk.
I think at this point in time, any sign of life in that offense is maybe something to propel them into next week, because Borostic to throw again. He airs it out. He's got Gupta, and he overthrows it. And with 11 seconds to go, it'll be a 2nd down and about 33 yards for a score. So don't forget, after the playing of this one, we'll take a little commercial break, and we'll come back, and we'll have Chuck Reisland in the coach's corner talking to you about the game and another innovation that we've come up with this year on the Game of the Week. Our crack staff is keep making it more and more enjoyable to watch as a fan, because we try to put you right down there with the coaches before the game. We let you hear what they're thinking after the game. And we even let you know what's going on during the game with Miguel Zarilla on the sideline. 2nd down and 10. Borostic.
Watch out.
Got hit again, and they're going to call it an incomplete pass. The arm was going forward. And thanks to Scott Ballantyne, number 64, also in their big number 53, Jeff Turner. I'm just amazed of all the licks he's taken. Not so much getting sacked every time, but just after every time he throws the ball, he takes another hit. Very resilient.
Takes a licking and keeps on ticking.
And for 148 pounds, that's not an easy thing to do. I bet you he's going to be hurting tomorrow morning, though.
He'll be a little sore, Craig. He's going to be a little sore. Ice Whirlpool definitely in the menu for Mike Borostic.
5 seconds to go. This will do it. Borostic running for his life, and he gets it batted down. A nice play by Jeff Turner, and that will do it. The final score here, the Orange Lions 14, the Brush Arcs nothing. And we'll be back. We'll have the coach's corner, and we'll wrap this one up right after you watch this.
On my finals team last year, and we knew right along that they were going to have to play real good for these first 4 or 5 weeks, because we got a lot of work to do offensively. Although I thought we played much better offensively tonight, we really stopped ourselves a lot. We did penalties, a couple drop balls, and that. I thought the offense was much better tonight, but I expect our defense to play like that.
Now, you've used your second quarterback in 2 weeks, so at least you got to be pleased. You've picked up a couple wins here with 2 different guys back there,
yeah.
And they both showed a little bit of moxie, so you should be happy with that.
Well, we should have the other one back, Tuesday. And I'll tell you, I thought Bryan did a real good job tonight. Bryan played well enough to get us into 4 scores, I thought. And, it wasn't his fault that we had people outside without a mouthpiece and that. So I thought Bryan did a great job tonight. I really did. Now these 2 kids are going to make each other better.
Chuck, in the second half, your offensive line really took control of the game with your running attack.
Yeah. Well, offensive line-wise, a couple of those guys, like Hockman and Cagini, both started last year for us. But I'll tell you, the juniors we got in there, and we got 4 juniors in that offensive line, really are starting to come together. And the thing about it is 2 of those kids were running backs last year. Garson played all over the place, and so I'm real pleased because they're getting better. They're real quick and they're real strong.
Earlier today, you told me that you were a little worried about Brush's defense. They really hung tough for 4 quarters.
First of all, Jim Schukart's a great coach, and he coached the defense for me in the West East All-Star game. He was the East defense coordinator, and he also shut out the West. So we knew we had our hands full. Jim's a great coach, and he's got a great staff.
All right, Coach, thank you very much, and good luck next week against the East Lake North Rangers. Thanks for stopping by on the Coach's Corner.
Thanks a lot.
And hopefully we'll be talking to you later in the year.
Okay, thanks.
All right, another class individual as we go around the league, and we've got all these great coaches, and of course being very gracious in mentioning Jim Schukart as being that kind of a guy.
Like I said, good friends. They told me before the game, very good friends. Again, they coached in the All-Star game, so these guys know each other. They knew what each other was going to do in this game, so they weren't hiding nothing from anybody.
All right, Brush goes to North Olmsted next week, and then they open their GCC season up against East Lake North the week after that. The executive producer of the Cablevision High School Game of the Week is Carrie Polachek. The producer is Dave Jensen. And the director in his unprecedented 174th year, Binky B. LaRue, and the rest of the crack staff.
Bill Stone.
And there we are. Hello, hello, hello. Nice to see you.
High above in the press box here at Brush.
And there's